Hey guys, and welcome back for another hips and shoulders 30-minute session. For today's session, all you're going to need is access to a strap, as with any of these classes. You could use a PVC pipe, item of clothing, belt, scarf, etc. Other than that, you're just going to need a space on the floor, a mat if you have one, and whenever you're ready, come and join me at the front of your mat with your strap, and we'll begin. For today's session, we're going to start with our yoga straps. If you haven't got one of these, you can always do just simple arm circles going forwards and back. But if you have a strap, grab a hold of it, hook one end around or loop one end around one hand, and then grab a hold of the other end and find yourself just hip distance apart with that strap. Hip level with that strap. We're going to inhale to lift the strap up and over, take it all the way back behind, tap your lower back, and then come up all the way over the top. So you should feel this in your shoulders, just opening up your shoulders slightly. We're aiming for about 10 or so reps. If you're finding that as you're doing this, your shoulders begin to open and become more supple, you can always start to challenge yourself. Just take maybe a half a turn on that strap, narrow your grip a little bit, and just keep those arms nice and straight. So don't bend your arms, keep them nice and straight as you go over. Just take your time, try and keep those ribs down as you go up and over. Try not to flare out like this. Try and keep those ribs sucked down. So engage that core, tuck that tailbone under. We'll go for 2 or 3 more pass-throughs. Last one. And then you can just release your strap from your hand and chuck it to one side. From here, we're just going to inhale as we lift and lengthen, reaching up tall. Exhale, bend at the knees, hinge at the hips, and just draw that chest over your thighs, crown of the head towards the floor, and just take opposite hand to opposite elbow. And we'll just take a moment there in ragdoll. Take a few deep breaths in. Hopefully Obi's not going to disturb the class. I have let him run free. I don't know whether that's a good idea or not. Obi, bed. And then from here, just take your hands to the floor, walk the feet all the way back and come into your downward facing dogs. From here, think about your alignment. So grip the mat with your fingertips, press the head through the arms, tailbone high towards the sky, and pull those shoulder blades apart so you have a nice broad upper back. You can bend at the knees while you find that length in the spine, and then just gently pedal out through the feet, opening up your hips, your calves, your ankles. And then from here, we're just going to take the right foot outside of the right hand, coming into that lizard lunge, and then inhale to lift and twist, exhale, elbow to the floor. Replace the hand, step back to down facing dog, and then left foot comes through, finding that lizard lunge. Inhale to lift and twist, exhale, elbow to the floor, Obi bed, and then replace the hand and step back to down facing dog. You're just going to do 3 of those each side for me, opening up those hips and shoulders. Just take your time, find those depths of movement, switching from side to side. And you are going to go back to your bed in a minute, Obi. And then just come back to that down facing dog. From here, walk the hands all the way back to the back of the mat. Find your Uttanasana forward fold. Heel toe your feet out to the edges of your mat. Find your squat stance. Inhale as you lift and lengthen, and then exhale as you come down. See if you can keep your hands quite high above your head and work on that shoulder range overhead as well as you come down into this squat. Take a moment there to just pulse in the bottom of the squat. And then you can take left hand to the floor. Inhale to lift and twist with the right hand up towards the ceiling. Exhale, release. Right hand comes to the floor. Inhale to lift and twist with your left hand up towards the ceiling. Exhale, release. Heel toe your feet back underneath your shoulders. And then walk your hands all the way to the front of the mat. Find your down facing dog position. And we're just going to take 3 body flows. So you're going to inhale to roll forwards, drop the hips, come up into cobra. And then exhale as you push back to downward facing dog. Last 2. Inhale, roll forwards, drop the hips, come up into cobra. And then exhale, push back to down facing dog. Okay, OB, in a minute. Drop the hips, come up into cobra, and then exhale as you press back to down facing dog. From here, walk the feet all the way in towards the hands, coming into your Uttanasana forward fold. Take a moment in ragdoll, and then inhale as you come all the way up, extended Tadasana, release your hands, and I'm gonna let this one outside because he's getting in the way. Go on then, out you go. Oh, sorry, I thought it was worth a try because he was being so good, and then he wasn't. So we're gonna come all the way back down to our floor today. So coming down onto your hands and knees, we're gonna do 5 cat-cows to begin with. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and you're just going to inhale as you dip the stomach, look up and come into your cat position, or cow position, sorry, and then exhale as you round through the back, pulling the shoulder blades apart, pressing the ground away and tucking the chin in towards the chest. Inhale to lift, exhale to round. So 5 of these just with your own breath, in your own time. Moving and transitioning slowly through each posture. Last one each way. Exhale. And then just come back to neutral. From here, we're going to come in to thread the needle. So we're going to take the left hand up and back above the head, and then exhale as we sweep the hand through, reaching through with the arm, bringing that shoulder towards the floor, looking out underneath our right armpit. Inhale to lift and twist. Exhale to sweep. Sorry, reach. And then inhale to lift and twist. This time as we exhale, we're going to hold for 3 deep breaths, bringing that shoulder to the floor and really tucking our head underneath that armpit. If you want to, you can take that right hand up and over behind you and see if you can wrap it behind the back and then grab a hold of your inner left thigh. Take 2 more deep breaths. Exhale. And then inhale as you come back up to center, and we're going to repeat that on the other side. So inhale to lift and reach. Exhale as you reach through and under that left arm, this time bringing the right shoulder to the floor. Inhale to lift and reach. Exhale to reach under. Last one. Inhale to lift. Exhale to reach. Bringing that shoulder all the way to the floor, wrapping that arm round and back behind you if you want to, and seeing if you can take a hold of that right thigh. Hold for 3 deep breaths. Last deep breath all the way in. Exhale, and then slowly come back up to center. So from here, we're just going to take our left foot forwards, coming into those kneeling sweeps that we've been doing recently. So think about engaging through that leg, finding that stretch in the hamstring underneath and in the hip. And then with the left hand, we're going to reach forwards, palm facing up. As you inhale, exhale to sweep it all the way over to the right. Inhale back to center, exhale to sweep. So 3 more. We're doing 5 in each direction with the hand. So that's 2, last one. And then come back to center, bring the arm back in, palm facing down. Inhale as you reach forwards, exhale to sweep over to the right. So you should feel as you're doing this, the first one was slightly lower down in your mid-back and maybe even your hip. And the second one is more in your shoulder and your lateral muscle. So last one, again, we're doing 5 of each. And then coming back to center, we're gonna come back to your kneeling position and then taking that right foot forwards outside of that right hand. Inhale as you lift and reach, or reach forwards with that palm facing up. Exhale to sweep over to the other side. Again, we're doing 5, so last one, and then come back to center, bring the hand back, palm facing down, inhale to reach forwards, exhale to sweep over to that left side feeling the change in area that you are now stretching. From here, come back to your kneeling position once you've done 5 and sit back on your heels in extended child's pose. So forehead to the floor. And if this is where you want to stay, feel free to stay here. For those of you who want to come into puppy pose, start to creep forward. So we're going to come up off the heels slightly, bringing our chin to the floor now and looking forward to the front of the mat. Take a nice deep breath all the way in. Feel the air expanding across the back of your shoulders. Exhale, see if you can melt a little bit deeper. If this is enough for you, feel free to stay here. If you want to take it all the way through into full puppy pose, bringing that chest to the floor, then feel free to drop that chest to the floor. Just try not to let your hips go too far past your knees as you do this. And everyone now, wherever you're at, just take 3 deep breaths. Last deep breath all the way in. Exhale. And then slowly come back up onto your hands and knees. Hands come to the front 2 corners of the mat. Tuck the toes, press up into down facing dog. From here, we're going to take a slightly different approach to this. So bend at the knees, soften the knees, and focus on your shoulders. So with your hands, spread the fingers, grip through the fingertips and press down through the knuckles. And then press the head through the shoulders. Thinking about now wrapping the arms around and under so that you create breadth across the top of that back and push the head through. And then as you inhale, extend through the spine, finding that nice long spine. You can then start to pulse through the shoulders, opening up the chest and the thoracic spine. Last 2 pulses, and then just begin to extend into your regular down facing dog again. Maybe just pedal out through the feet. From here, we're going to take the left foot through, plant it between the hands and come down into a low lunge. So dropping that back knee to the floor. Think about finding your steady stance because we're going to take our hands off the floor and inhale as we lift and reach up above our heads, and as we exhale, we're going to drop the left hand to the floor and stretch all the way over towards the left with our right hand. Take a nice deep breath all the way in. Exhale, and then inhale back to center, switching over the arms, taking the right hand to the floor, and then taking the left hand all the way up and over toward the right. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, and then inhale back to center. Take both hands to the floor now. Frame that front foot, and we're going to sit back, extending the leg and flexing the toes back towards us, and then rock forward as we inhale. So inhale to rock forward, exhale to sit back. So this will be getting into your hips as well as your shoulders as well. We're just going to do 5 back and forths. Last one. And then come all the way forward to that kneeling lunge position. And then we're going to take the left hand all the way forwards as we reach forwards, and then bring it all the way up and over us as we come back behind, almost into a back bend. So you're kind of trying to draw a circle with the left hand. We're going to do 3 rotations in total, getting into that shoulder and overhead range, and then come back to that low lunge position, step back to down facing dog, and we'll take a body flow. So inhale, drop the hips, look up, come to cobra, and then exhale as you sit back into your child's pose position. Take 3 deep breaths, and then we're going to repeat that sequence on the other side. So option here, after your 3rd deep breath, to either stay in child's pose or start to come through into that puppy pose. So walking the hands forwards, just slightly lifting off the heels, bring that chin to the floor. And then if you want to come through to full puppy pose, come all the way through, dropping the chest to the floor, keeping those hips stacked above the knees, and take another 3 deep breaths. You should really feel this in the upper back and the cervical spine. Your lower back should be relatively neutral. Last deep breath all the way in. Exhale. and then slowly come up into that down facing dog position. Tuck the toes. Remember to soften the knees. We're back to those shoulder pulses. So soften the knees, press the head through the arms. Point the tailbone high towards the sky. Find that nice alignment again. And then just pulse a few times through that upper back, opening up your shoulders and your thoracic spine. Just going as far as you want. And then from here, coming back to that neutral down facing dog and maybe just taking a few pedals through the feet. From here, we're going to take the right foot through this time, coming into a low lunge on the opposite side, rolling those shoulders back and down, and then inhaling to lift and reach with the right hands all the way up towards the ceiling, dropping that right hand as you exhale toward the floor and reaching all the way over to the left, or sorry, over to the right with the left hand. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, and then inhale back to center, switching over the arms. Exhale as you reach all the way over to the right with the right hand, over to the left, sorry, with the right hand. Take a nice deep breath all the way in. Exhale. And then inhale back to center, coming back to that kneeling lunge position. We're going to come back to those hips back and forth. So you're sitting back, straightening the leg, flexing the toes back towards you as you exhale, inhaling to come through, exhaling to sit back. So we're doing 5 of those in total, so 3 more. Last one each way. Inhale back to center, keeping that left hand grounded now. We're reaching forwards with that right hand and then taking it all the way over to the left, sweeping it round in a big circle as we bring it back over and around to the front again. So spiraling circles in that kneeling position. Last one. Come back to center, replace the hands, step back to your down facing dog position, pedal out the feet. And we'll take one more body flow. So inhale, drop the hips, look up, come to cobra. And then exhale as you sit back into your extended child's pose. Take 3 deep breaths. So from here, we're going to come up now into our dolphin pose. So if you guys want to come onto your knees so you can see, we're going to come into that down facing dog, but with your hands, forearms to the floor. So taking your forearms to the floor, your arms should be shoulder distance apart. So you can do this by measuring with your arms. I don't know if you can see my mat there. Hopefully you can. Sorry guys. So you can do that by taking your arms across and then finding that position on the mat and then just swiveling the hands out. From here, tuck the toes, walk the feet back and find that dolphin pose position. If this is enough for you today, then feel free to just stay here. Think about pressing the head through the arms, pressing through the elbows to lift the body away from the ground and engage those lateral muscles, so those side body, under armpit muscles. From here, if you want to take it further, we can start to come up into a press. So you can take one hand underneath and come into a high plank and then come back down, rotating through the arms. So you're pressing up with your hands and coming back down and then pressing up the other way and coming back down. Finding that plank position. You should feel this in your shoulders. Then come back to that dolphin pose. Just take 3 deep breaths, really focusing on pressing the floor away, engaging those shoulders, pulling the shoulder blades apart. So don't let the back kind of sink in between the shoulders. Pull those shoulder blades apart, give yourself a nice strong base. And then when you've had 3 deep breaths, just slowly come back down and relax in child's pose. Release the hands by your side, shake off the shoulders, refresh, and we'll go into the next movement. So the next movement is a dolphin press in a different way. So we're going to take, the other ones were press ups, and then these ones are pressing to the nose to fingers. So you might have done this in some of my HIIT yoga classes. You're going to come back to that Position with the elbows underneath your shoulders, clasp the hands together, thumbs on top, and then press into the ground, come up into that dolphin press. And we're just simply going to take the nose to the thumbs and push back, or nose to floor and push back. So think about lifting and pressing the floor away through the shoulders. And again, if you'd just rather stay in dolphin pose and focus on that for today, that's absolutely fine. So once you've done 3 of whichever variation you want, you're going to come back down to your knees and come back into that extended child's pose or normal child's pose again. Release off the shoulders and then come all the way down onto your fronts. Then we're going to come into our locust pose. So in a prone position, take the arms out in front of you, legs go back behind. And as we inhale, we're going to lift and find that dish shape. Hold here for 3, 2, 1, exhale, release. And then you can take that one again, or we can start to work into the full bow. So if you want to stick with locust, then feel free. The next one is to take the left hand, or the right hand, sorry, to right foot. And then we're going to inhale to lift and kick, pulling the shoulders away from the floor. Hold for 3, 2, 1, exhale, release, and then switch sides. So if you're happy with locust, stay with locust. If you want to go further, see if you can do half bow. So taking the left hand now to the left ankle, inhale to lift and kick. Really kick back into that hand, pull that shoulder away from the floor, open up that chest, exhale, release, and come back. The next one will be to take both hands to both ankles into full bow. So think about trying to keep the knees as close together as you can. Try not to let them flare out too much. And then we're going to inhale to lift and kick. And really hold for 3, 2, 1. Exhale. One more of those. Inhale to lift and kick. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. Come back and sit back in child's pose and enjoy a couple of breaths. Well done, guys. They're quite tough on the upper back and the shoulders, these poses. From here, we're going to just finish off with a few cool down stretches. So if you're coming onto your fronts, we're going to come out into our scorpion pose. So from that prone position, come back onto your fronts, take your hands to the floor, take the hands out wide, palms facing down. Inhale as you lift your left leg up and over, reaching it over to the right hand, taking the left hand underneath the shoulder and pressing into the ground, opening up that right shoulder. Just take a nice deep breath all the way in. Exhale. Last deep breath all the way in. Exhale. And then inhale as you come back to center and switch sides. So left hand goes out long, right hand comes underneath right shoulder. Inhale to lift and reach with the right foot all the way over to the left hand. Press the ground away, open up that left shoulder. Take 2 or 3 deep breaths. And then inhale to come all the way back up to center and push back to your extended child or your child's pose. Instead of coming into child's pose though, we're going to sit up slightly from the heels, bringing the crown of the head towards the floor and come into rabbit pose with the arms by the side. So tucking the head in, crown of the head towards the floor, and then just gently try and sit back on your heels. You might not make it all the way back to your heels, but just try. Take 3 deep breaths, release off the neck. Last deep breath all the way in. Exhale. And then inhale as you come up. We're going to transfer now into hero pose. Taking the knees, so knees together, feet go out wide, or feel free to just sit back on your heels. If this hurts your knees, then come back up and just come into a kneeling pose or a seated pose, wherever you're comfortable. Just gives you an opportunity to work on those quads as well. From here, we're going to take eagle arms. So taking the left arm underneath the right, crossing at the elbows, wrapping the arms, and finding the hands together. Inhale to lift. Take a nice deep breath all the way in. Exhale, 2 more deep breaths. Exhale. And then release the arms. Switch sides. Wrap, so crossing the left arm over the top of the right, wrapping the arms. Inhale to lift. Exhale, 2 more deep breaths. Last deep breath all the way in. Exhale, release the arms, shake it all out. And then slowly just come into a seated position to finish in the center of your mats. With one final deep inhale as we lift the hands up above the head, palms together. And as we exhale, bringing the hands to the forehead. Kind thoughts. To the lips, kind words. To the heart, kind feelings. Namaste.